Hi, it's Dave. It's Tuesday and I'm back on the blog. Sorry about last Thursday. I was feeling distinctly under the weather, below par you might say, and yeah, feeling a bit sorry for myself. I think I'd had a dodgy prawn or something. I'm not really sure, but I'd been up all night, feeling very, very ill, and I dragged myself into work and really hadn't been up to that and had to come home again. And just, oh, it was just awful. And I was dreading travelling the next day, because the next day I was getting on the plane to Salt Lake City. But thankfully it only lasted about 36 hours. I was still feeling quite rough in the morning before I flew, but by the time I actually got there, I was okay. So yeah, apologies for being a bit down in the dumps and grumbly last week. I was really touched by the messages I got from people, and slightly overwhelmed by the fact that a Facebook group was started. But I really appreciate the support and the fact people watch this, and I vow to press on. Anyway, I am just fresh off a plane from Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City via Houston, in fact, because you still can't fly direct to Salt Lake City. So yeah, going for a weekend is a wee bit of an arduous task. The flight to Houston is 10 hours. My layover in Houston was 5 hours, and then the journey back up to Salt Lake is nearly 3 hours. So yeah, it took 18 hours. You could be halfway around the other side of the world by the time it takes to get to Salt Lake City. Apparently, there's going to be a direct flight from Paris in from the summer onwards, so that will make things a whole lot easier for the next time I go. But had a really cool time. Braddon works on a Friday night, so he wasn't able to pick me up at the airport, but he sent his friend Rodney, who was there with a huge sign that said Uncle Dave. And when I say huge, it was about 4 foot wide. It was really, or 5 foot wide. It was impressive. It was on a big sort of presentation board, and it was all coloured in. But that's what Braddon calls me, Uncle Dave, and that's what now everybody in Salt Lake City that he knows me as. So people say, "Oh, you're Uncle Dave," which is amusing. So that made me laugh. It started off the trip really well. It was really nice to be greeted by a friendly face rather than an airport shuttle. And the first morning, went to Braddon's place of work, which is it's out in a place called Thanksgiving Point, which is in a part of town called Lehigh, and they make stained glass windows, which is quite a big industry in Utah. They're popular both with the growing number of chapels and temples, and also in private homes. And at weekends, well, I think all the time actually, but you can go in and you can make your own glass flower, which is exactly what I did. And here is mine. I chose blue and white, and I know it doesn't look very big, but I have to say, there you go. It started off straight, and then you get a chance at the end to curl it while it's still hot. And I know it doesn't look very large, but that was actually quite a hassle to make, because you start off with a rod with a ball of molten glass on the end, which you have to slap into shape. You slap it into a kind of a cone shape, and then you get these tweezers, and you pull these bits out. You pull these bits out with the tweezers. And then all the while you're having to dip the tweezers in water, because if they get too hot the glass sticks to them, and you're having to do the whole thing in 30 seconds, because within 30 seconds it becomes too cold to manipulate. And I said, "Oh, how cold's too cold?" And he said, "Oh, it's still over 1,000 degrees, but once it gets below a certain temperature you can't do it anymore." So yeah, really proud of that. And what I'm most proud of is actually getting it back home in one piece, because we just had a really bumpy flight home, and when I opened the overhead locker, my stuff had just gone everywhere. And I was the only person with stuff in that locker, so the stuff had really chucked about. And I was fearful that my flour would have been smashed to pieces, but luckily it was all in one piece. And then I even managed to drop the bag it was in when I got to City Thameslink, so I was faffing around trying to get my tickets out, and thought it wasn't going to make it, but I'm proud to say it made it. So I have a big thank you to say to Braddon's friend Deborah, who provided me with the packaging materials to bring it home. It got home in one piece, which is good news. And then after we did the glass making, Braddon drove me up into the canyons, which are incredible. Salt Lake City is in a valley, a flat-bottomed valley between these mountain ranges. So the city itself is on a flat bit of land, and then wherever you are in the city, you can see these huge, I mean massive mountains. They're not just, they're not just British type hills. They are enormous, and they're snow covered for much of the year. So within half an hour you can go from the city, which actually it had stunning weather and it was quite warm on both days. You can go from the city, where you can play golf and sort of recreational pursuits outside. You can be up in the mountains within half an hour, and on a ski lift and up to a ski resort. So they definitely have an amazing mixture of sort of terrain and weather there. But the canyons are fascinating and they're beautiful. We were going to catch the cable car up to the top to see the lookout from there, but unfortunately the weather was closing in and the clouds had come down, which again is very frequent, something that happens frequently there. So we put it off, and unfortunately we never got the chance to go back. And then this was Saturday. I arrived Friday. I had Saturday, I had Sunday, and then I left Monday. So it literally was just a weekend, and with an 18-hour journey, that's it's quite a tall order. But on Saturday evening, most of Braddon's family joined us for dinner at a restaurant called the Olive Garden, or the OG, as one of Braddon's sisters has labelled it, which made me laugh. Now the Olive Garden I wanted to eat at the Olive Garden last summer when I went to the US, and for some reason didn't get to, and then I wanted to eat there when I went to Salt Lake City last time and didn't get to because someone put us off. So this time I was determined. I was like, I must eat at Olive Garden, and my determination is in no way reflected by the sort of, the esteem of the establishment. It is a chain Italian restaurant. It's nothing spectacular, although I have to say it was very nice. But my obsession stemmed from the fact it's been featured so much on The Girls Next Door TV show, or as it's known in the UK, The Girls of the Playboy Mansion. One of the girls, Kendra, is always obsessed with it. And even when she went to Venice, or she went to Italy, she went to Naples, and they had this hand-prepared buffet and of just Italian delicacies. Her reaction to almost every food item is, but it's not the Olive Garden. So, sight unseen, I wanted to see what the Olive Garden was all about, and now I've done so. Unfortunately, there was a nearly 2-hour wait, which I know if it had been in Britain, people would have just hightailed it off out of there. But in the US, you're told a 2-hour wait, and people are like, yep, that's fine. So people stood really orderly, and they waiting for their tables, and they brought around sort of free appetisers to stop people getting too hungry or bored. And actually the time flew because we were all talking, and I hadn't met everybody before, so chatting away, which was cool. And we eventually got seated and had a lovely meal. So that was a real highlight of the trip. And the next morning we went to Braddon and his sister Lara Lee. They spend late Sunday morning or early Sunday afternoon. They go to a pancake house in downtown Salt Lake City, and I was lucky to join them for their ritual, which was cool. It was a really great place and really good food, although I know my personal trainer would completely disagree with the fact the food was good, because it was probably it was definitely really unhealthy, but it was lovely. And it's the kind of thing you just do in America. It's indulgent and it's lovely, so enjoyed all of that. And then in the afternoon we went to the Gateway, which is what used to be Salt Lake City's railroad station, and it's been turned into a really nice modern outdoor sort of two-sided shopping mall with a road running through the middle, and a nice monument in the middle to the 2002 Winter Olympics, and dancing fountains and things. And Braddon showed me the tile that his family have got. They have one of those walkways where you can buy a tile with your name on, and the Anderson family, Braddon's dad and the Anderson family, have a tile which took us a while to locate, but I like to think I know where it is now. So next time, I'm hoping, unless they build more, because it was next to it, it's near the end. If they put more in, it won't be near the end anymore, and I won't be able to find it quite so easily. But I like to think I have it in my sights. And then we found some cool. Well, Braddon already knew about them, but I'd never seen them before. These cool books in a bookshop about secrets. This guy started this campaign by handing out, I think it was 10,000 postcards, and he asked people to customise the postcard and tell their secret. And no name, just tell their secret. And the book is all these secrets. And some of them are hilarious, and some of them are quite touching, and some of them are just, heart-rending. Like a picture of a baby scan with a lady saying, "I just hope that soon I'm going to want my baby." And messages like, "I'm the product of adultery," or, "I've always wanted to leave her, but never had the courage to do so." And so. But then some of them would just be laugh-out-loud funny. I can't actually remember the title of the book, so I'm going to check, and I'll put it on my page somewhere. But there were 3, and we spent like a good hour going through and reading these things out to each other. Some very touching and some very funny. We probably annoyed some of the people that were around us by making too much noise, but hey, there you go. Anyway, I've just seen the time. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to say goodbye. Needless to say, it was a fantastic trip. Slightly sad to be home. Glad to be off a plane though. Going to get some sleep now, and I'll speak again soon. Bye.